Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast, where today we're talking NWA Saturday Night on TBS from July 22nd, 1989. This is the go-home show before the big pay-per-view that you can only listen to us review on Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Become a patron, get access to all that wonderful content there. I am sitting here today with Doc and not Hardbody Hopper. Before anyone gets worried, no, it is actually not Hopper's fault this time. He is having a hell of a work week this week, and there was no chance he was going to do this any day this week. So we had to move some things around so Doc and I could get this show done. Doc, let me welcome you in since it's just going to be you and I. How you doing, man? No superstar this week. What are we going to do here?
Well, I was feeling really happy about my Thanksgiving, but now I'm feeling really litigious.
For those out there who don't know what litigious means,
I'm ready to sue your ass.
Okay. Over.
Look, if I don't get a check for some of this JV Goon Squad T-shirt money, you and I are going to have a problem. Not to mention these flunkies that are doing live streams or whatever it is you call what they're doing. But when you start putting shirts out, that's infringing on my income.
So would you like all the money that comes in for the JV Goon Squad shirts? 100%. 100% of it. 100%.
No, I see. That's where you're wrong. Why is everything?
I don't have a problem sending you
everything is black or white with you. I didn't say I want all of it. I just don't think I deserve 0% of it.
To be honest, here's the thing. I feel you on this one. I'm not even going to argue. You came up with the JV Goon Squad. You came up with that title. Instead of third string or whatever, or bench, you said JV Goon Squad.
Do I need to get on the horn with Stephen P. New? Let me tell you something. If we had a shirt that said the Muddiest of Mud Show podcast, we'd get a phone call. And I prefer that we keep this inside the family, but since I haven't seen any money coming my way, I had to air it out here. That's all I'm saying. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the JV team down there decided to get their own jerseys instead of getting the hand-me-downs, and they've printed some shirts. Where can you buy those?
Pro Wrestling Tees, the Book in the Territory store on ProWrestlingTees.com. Just go to Pro Wrestling Tees and find our store. It's in the link in the show description.
People are being greedy right now. Everybody needs to eat. It's the holidays, man. Other than that, I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. The Cowboys beat that football team. We're in first place. I'm feeling good.
I hear you, man.
Cowboys are back, man.
Okay.
Can we hit pause and let me redo an alternate beginning in case we lose so that you can edit it and put it in?
No, this is great. I was just going to say something else. Whether the Cowboys are back or not, or whoever ends up winning the NFC least division. I said least, not east. Whoever wins that division, I just want to say, whoever ends up as the 5 seed in the NFC playoffs, congratulations on earning yourself a bye week. And that's all I have to say. Man,
I'm telling you, whoever wins this sorry shit ought to come out there and just throw Hail Marys the whole 60 minutes. Why not, man? You're playing with house money at that point. Just try to get pass interference and move down the field and just blitz a lot and just dirty up the game and see what you can do.
Here's the interesting thing. There's been a few 7-9 teams that have won their division and gotten to the playoffs. But we're about to set the mark this year that I don't think will ever be broken. Because I'm convinced, as I look at those standings, that a 6-win, possibly 6-10 or 6-9-1 is going to win that division.
And let me tell you something. If it's going to happen, it might as well be us.
which for you would be 6-10, which is amazing in itself. And,
yeah, it's amazing how you can get from 2-7 to 6-10. But you know what? I sat there. I called my shot on Sunday. I said, I think we're actually going to beat the Vikings because it's the Cowboy thing to do to give some hope. And then false hope.
I hear you.
And I was, then I started. I worked myself into a shoot, I was watching that game against the Vikings, and we're going to win this thing. I was standing up cheering like we were 8-2, vying for home field. Why not, man? It's fun. I told you, bad football is better than no football. We better enjoy what we have. That's all I'm saying.
It's something to be said about the NFL season being a marathon and not a sprint too, because I don't really listen to the national pundits and the media when it comes to sports. I think it's a waste of time, because if you listen to them from one week to the next, they will come up with a new best team that's going to run the table every single week. It is a complete waste. Now, with that said, any other thoughts before we move on to some shout-outs?
Well, I do. Before we hit the shout-outs, we do have, just coming up right around the corner is the pay-per-view, the Bash. That son of a bitch is almost 3 hours long, man.
So 2 hours and 40 was the standard back then.
Yeah. So here's a question. We're coming off the heels of the 2020 Survivor Series. What percentage of that pay-per-view did you watch?
If I could, I wish I could tell you negative, but I'm going to say 0%, since negative isn't,
Zero. Okay.
Yeah, 0%.
We'll make that 2. I didn't have time to watch that. I care less. Kid's not watching it anymore?
Mine?
Yeah.
No, he's reached a stage where you and I reached at 15.
Oh, and, no.
He's chasing, some sniffing
Grandpa Menace.
So, and I know people are like, what do you mean he's doing that during a pandemic? Well, I mean, he's technically not dating or anything, like going out with anyone, but he spends his time sweet talking to his ladies on the phone.
So basically he's setting it up so that once he gets the shot, he's ready to roll. And then he's going to need another shot to clear up whatever he gets.
That's right. Yeah. So
okay.
That would be a negative.
Mine is even worse. My kid over there has access to the network, still loves wrestling, but only wants to watch Royal Rumbles. He has seen the 2019 Royal Rumble. I guarantee you he's watched it once for every year on the calendar. I bet he's watched that thing 2019 times, man. And he starts describing it to me, and I'm like, the Survivor Series was on last night. You want to watch that? No, I'm good. I'm watching this. All right. Kids and wives, man, it's the holidays. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, let him entertain himself. I mean,
I guess.
What are you going to do the way we're all stuck in our homes for the most part? All right.
We got some things to talk about here. We got some shout outs, don't we?
Yeah, I got a couple of shout outs. So, the pandemic hasn't been kind this year to a lot of people. And I just want to welcome back Josh Fields to our Patreon. I know 2020 has been hard on you and your family. So without getting into specifics, I want to welcome you back, and thanks for re-upping your patronage. Thank you, Josh, for all of your support. You've been a long-time supporter of the show, and it's definitely appreciated. Steven Jaworski, he went and got himself the annual subscription on Patreon so that he can guarantee himself for the next year worth of Patreon access and cranking off to Harper's voice, and I guess when Harper's not here, cranking off to ours. And this guy's got a severe problem. He's over in the Facebook group. He's always causing problems. He likes to be a troll, but I still like Jaworski because he's a bad troll.
He is living the fucking life right now. This is the first time in 26 years that his Cleveland Browns have been this good.
That's true, too.
That's that's over a quarter of a century. Only the Browns would post their best season in a quarter of a century during a pandemic when you can't fully enjoy it.
Can you imagine the ceiling in his garage or his basement when because he's shooting some missiles off into
I bet it's so heavy and caked on that it's now a 6-foot ceiling instead of a 10-foot ceiling.
That's a good bet. I would put money on that if I was a betting man. And then also thanks to new BTT Hall of Famer Jim Vinsky, who helps me run the BTT Facebook group. Jim moved over to the annual as well, and I wanted to shout him out, not only for moving over to the annual, but helps me a lot with the Facebook group because I'm not on Facebook a ton these days, and Jim helps me there along with Mike Crockett. So thanks, Jim. The thing about Jaworski and Jim, real quick, Doc, they bumped up to the annual. By bumping up to the annual subscription model last week, they got themselves 2 free months. Now, as of now, You'll only get one free month because the flash sale is over. But the thing is, when you move over to the annual model or you sign up at an annual model, you will get one free month on our Patreon. Again, it's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. So if you're month to month, yeah, fine. If you want to stay month to month, great. If you sign up new and you want to go month to month, good. But I'm telling you, if you go annual, you get a discount. Now, Doc, you were about to say something?
Are we on Parler?
No, we're not. I don't even, I told you what I said to Harper last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. I don't have time for the social media that I have. I don't want to sign up for something else. So that would be a big no. I don't care if Parler's for conservatives or liberals or middle ground people. It doesn't matter to me. I do not want any more social media. I can't maintain the ones I have now.
Is the social media that's out there any good?
It has become a task.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't, for a shoot, I wouldn't mind being in the old BTT Facebook group just for shits and giggles. But all the other stuff I'd have to put up with in the other parts of my life, like people from high school and shit, I'll just stay over here.
Yeah, I don't need any other social media. I know people with Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
I don't know what those are. So how many people from high school do you still... How big was your high school?
I mean, my high school... I don't know what... we were a 5A school, so what does that tell you?
How many people graduated in your graduating class?
Oh, good. That's a good question. Probably about 250.
Okay. Mine was about 470, I think.
So you
know how many of that 470 I keep in contact with?
Probably like one or two.
0.
Yeah, I don't keep in touch with many of my high school buddies either.
What do I need to see their dumbass kids on Facebook? I don't care.
Well, that's not it. It's like
no. The mother-in-law came in and said, "Did you know so and so from high school? Your high school?" And I was like, "Yeah. How do you know him?" She's like, gave me this story and told me some stuff. And I was like, "That's great." And then I just took another drink of whiskey.
Okay. All right. It's just like you. I'm the antisocial one, but you're the one who doesn't like your high school friends.
I said, did he develop the vaccine and get it ready? If the answer is no, then I don't give a shit about him. Otherwise, anyway.
All right, you've got a 5-star review, so let's do that. That way we can get into this show.
This is a good one. It's I think it's D Hood DMB.
That sounds right, like from what I was looking at earlier. But
okay, well, it's a 5-star. It's a 5-star review. I wish Hardbody was here to hear it because, but he's been reading it and beating off to it all week. It is called the best. The headline is the best pro wrestling podcast. Period. Hardbody Harper makes me laugh every week. When you add in Mike and Doc, you get a trio of guys who make up the best pro wrestling podcast available today. The crew does an amazing job of recapping the classic wrestling shows and does it in a way that you really don't need the video footage. These guys do not have ads on their show, so once they get going, recaps of Harper's intimate encounters are the only interruptions you will get until the credits roll. Big props to Mike for buying headset after headset for Harper, who for some reason enjoys wearing them while participating in the aforementioned intimate encounters. Fantastic job, guys. Man.
The funny part about that is it's not a shoot when it comes to the headsets.
No, it's not a shoot.
It's 100% on point.
You said it's not a shoot.
No, I mean, yeah, it's like we're not joking.
No, that's a work.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a shoot.
Oh, I think you said it's not a shoot. Oh, okay.
I may have. You know me, I don't speak well.
You're pretty well spoken, I'd say. Pretty well.
I don't know about that, but okay.
You speak so well.
Jesus Christ! Tell that to my wife. She's the one that's proper. All right, that was a good one. Thank you, D Hood DMD for the 5-star review.
Once again,
we appreciate it.
These help the algorithm, and when we get to 400, Mike's going to go around to all 400 of you and give you a toothy, stubbly blowjob.
That will not happen.
Oh, okay.
All right. Are we ready to talk some Saturday night, Doc?
Yeah, last Saturday night I was knee walking drunk, probably got in a fight with the missus. Oh, you mean wrestling. Okay.
All right, so let's get started. We are talking July 22nd, 1989, NWA Saturday Night on TBS. Again, this is, like I said at the top of the show, this is the go-home show before the 1989 Great American Bash. And as you know, these episodes that we're reviewing now are not on the network. So we've got our own footage, thanks to BTT Hall of Famer and longtime supporter, Tim Morecci, who has supported us. And the reason I point out that these aren't on the network and this is our own footage is because some of the episodes that we have are cut a little short. There are things cut either from the beginning or maybe the end. There's an episode in a few months that is like, all we got is like 15 minutes of it. So anyway, I point that out because the copy of this show that we're talking about this week from July 22nd of 89, the front of it must be chopped off. So we head straight to the ring with the copy we have, where we have a 6-man tag match where we have Tommy, Davey, and Johnny Rich wrestling George South, Lee Scott, and Trent Knight. But again, we are midway into this match when this thing starts. So, Doc, we don't see much of this, but what do you have from this?
Well, I tell you what we do see much of, and that's Tommy Rich's ample backside on the apron into the camera. Man, he must have put on 20 pounds since getting the first Turner check.
Yeah, I don't know what you want from me on this guy. I've said my piece.
Look, I'm just calling it as it is. I thought that was Dusty. I was like, when did Dusty get back? And then it was like, I thought it was Dusty and the Italian Stallion. They got closer. I was like, that's Tommy and Davey Rich. I'll be damned.
It did look like Dusty's buttocks. When we were from the hard camera, when you're watching it, you can literally see it's a big wide load. Let's just leave it at that when he's on the ring apron. But whatever.
What do you think Tommy Rich is spending his newfound riches on? See how I said riches?
Use your imagination. I think we all know what he's spending his cash on.
Hey man, I've known some pretty skinny cokeheads. I think it's all on Tommy Wisers.
He got his own wrestling school now.
Maybe I should go and show up the first day?
Well,
hey, I want somebody to teach me how to wrestle.
Rumor is it, he is giving lessons on how to snort, but you must provide the product in addition to your wrestling school fees that you pay. Who posted that in the Facebook group? I think it was Bobby Murray. It may have been somebody else. I'm sorry if I don't get the name right. Somebody posted about his school in the group. Anyway, the team of Johnny, Tommy, and Davey win. I guess there's no surprise there. I mean, what did you think about all this stuff?
Well, can you hit me 4:15?
On the timestamp, 4:15. Let's see what we're talking about here at 4:15.
I need you.
So that's the Thez press.
What's he doing after the Thez press?
I don't know. Let's watch it again.
What is he doing? Like, he did it. Okay. But then what?
You're the one defending this guy.
I ain't defending shit. He looked like he was about to finish on the dude.
He did look like he was convulsing, like an orgasm was coming. What the hell? Look at that. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, that's your guy, man.
No, it's not my guy. Ric Flair's my guy. He finishes on the broads.
That's going to be his finisher, him being Tommy Rich while he's here, just so you know. All right.
Well,
any other thoughts on the match?
I'm not interested in a 6-man team of the Party Patrol and Tommy Rich.
You say that again. Let's go now to the Freebirds, who are going to be out here. They've got a promo that they got to cut. Here it is.
Well, I hate to tell you this, baby. Well, go ahead, tell me. But we're dealing with a bunch of idiots, pal. We're dealing with a bunch of idiots. How you think them Road Warriors was smarting up after we made them so, humiliated them so in Marietta and Midnight Express? Huh, they went out with yet last week's garbage, but they still want to get in the cage with the baddest boys on the block, the Freebirds and the boys from Samoa. I don't understand it, but idiots are real easy to beat, Michael. Well, let's explain it real simple. Baltimore, Sunday afternoon, July 23rd, War Games, and they say, oh, good God, y'all, what is it good for? It's good for eliminating trash. And if you wonder where the big gun is, Bam Bam, he's out right now at the SST putting them through a special training session. So get it like this.
Tell him, Mike.
When we're all in the cage,
That's right.
only 5 are going to leave and 5 are going to bleed.
Any thoughts on Hayes and Garvin building up the War Games match coming up at the Bash that we're going to review?
I was wondering if Gordy had taken a quick trip to Japan, but I guess not.
No.
Can you imagine what he's teaching the Samoans? Here's how you shotgun a beer. Don't eat the can.
It's possible, depending on when this was taped. The July 22nd, 89 episode, which I don't have in front of me. But it is possible, but I don't know. We don't know that for a fact.
I like that, the war, what is it good for? That's a great song, but, taking out the trash. I like it, man. You're down on Michael Hayes, but he's delivering.
No.
No.
I'm down on Hayes' commentary with JR because he doesn't shut up. I am not down on Michael Hayes as a tag team champion. There is a big difference.
Okay.
Yeah, big difference.
Okay, bro.
I thought it was meat and potatoes, which is what it needed to be. It was fine. Look, at this point, the Bash is the next day. We've already built the quote-unquote angles. We've already done the heavy lifting, in my opinion. You really, at this point, although you want to drive some pay-per-view buys, you also don't want to mess anything up. So it's the next day. It's happening, and we're here. So that I thought it was fine. It was, and I think that's with a lot of the promos on this episode, to be honest with you. I thought it was fine.
I get the feeling everybody's trying not to mess anything up, but nobody's truly going to talk him in the building.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Flair kind of at the end, he's
always a difference.
Yeah. So we keep going, and actually, if you're watching the video version, because you can get the video versions of these on Patreon at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT, we see the video package of Funk laying waste to lots of people in the promotion with his pile driver. I believe this is the segment that was cut off last week. So this, on the copy last week, got cut, and we only saw like them introing it, but we actually see the whole segment now. Doc, did you have any thoughts on this? I thought this was well put together for what it was worth.
Yeah. I mean, how would you feel if you were up in his pile driver and he started walking backwards and shit?
No, that'd have been okay.
Okay.
Because to me, like leaning,
God,
like
he
him,
sticks Flair, man. Look at this. It's hard to get. He stuck him there. That's hard to.
I thought that was the greatest part of this video package was the fact that the last thing you see is him dropping Flair on his head and the pile driver on the table before we then go to a Funk promo here.
Yeah.
That was my main note from
the only thing I think about whenever I see a pile driver, and we'll talk about it at the pay-per-view too, is nobody. I understand, but the best pile drivers are like the Paul Orndorff spike pile drivers.
Orndorff had a vicious one. That time he pile
he
drove
murdered
the
a Batten
whole
twin.
Oh, well, it wasn't just that. There was one where he hits Hector with it, Hector Guerrero in Smoky Mountain. And there was a thing where it was like I think it may have been the end of a show. It was early Smoky Mountain. Basically, all the enhancement talent came out. Hector Guerrero came out. And I mean, he spiked pile drove every last one of them. He was getting some serious airtime.
I guarantee you that Batten twin is just about ready to get up.
And I don't want to make a bad joke here. I wonder if that's one of the Batten twins that's deceased that got pile driven. Like, I don't remember which Batten it was. One of the, one of them's deceased, passed away.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that Batten twin that got pile drove on the floor. Who was I telling that story to? Was it on Dutch's show? I don't remember. But he got pile drove, and Doc, he was out. The match went like another 10 minutes, and that dude didn't move. He was dead on the floor.
Yeah, I told you he's about to get up anytime now.
Yeah, 30 years later. All right, let's keep going. We got Terry Funk who's going to cut a promo as his last promo before the bash. Here it is.
Tomorrow is the day, Ric Flair. Tomorrow is my day. It is the high point in my entire wrestling career. Now, I've told you simple-minded people before why I am doing this. I told you how I looked down at my father's grave, and there was nothing but the West Texas winds blowing. And I saw the name Funk on that gravestone, and there was nobody else in sight. And I swore to the heavens above that name Funk would become synonymous with professional wrestling forever. Now, either I am a failure or I am a success to tomorrow. And I swear to you, on my family name, that I am going to be a success. You people are going to see a new NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. And you are going to see Ric Flair lose his dignity, lose his pride, lose his honor, and walk away with his head in shame. Oh, Ric Flair, cry if you want to, but I'm smiling.
Once again, I think meat and potatoes. I thought Funk was solid. It's what he needed to be here right before the bash in their match. Doc, what'd you think?
I agree. What I did like is, he's not telling crazy stories. He's not going around, the scenic route. He's not middle-aged and crazy. And then he delivered the line that says, you people are going to see a new NWA World Champion.
That does have some impact when you say it like that.
Because that's still back when you didn't just see that.
So
and so he's not out there talking about Ric Flair smelling like a horse or something like that. A jackass. He's serious about the moment because the moment's serious.
I thought it was great. I mean, he's a former NWA World Champion. It's been many years since he had it. But if you're watching this for the first time all those years ago, you got to be worried that he can take that belt from Flair. I mean, he's crazy.
Well, we still don't know because Rick has refused to wrestle any warm-up matches. We still don't know if Rick's going to be ready to roll here.
That's true. We'll talk about that on the pay-per-view because that is addressed by Gordon Soley in a very good promo during the pay-per-view or right before the match. We'll talk about that on the Patreon show. Okay, let's keep it moving. We go to the Skyscrapers, who are up against Bob Emery and Tony Suber. Now, Emery and Suber are not little dudes. They both have some beef on their frames. I mean, these are big guys. There are tons of Peanut Head chants from the crowd. Teddy Long is confronting JR about being called Peanut Head on commentary because he joins JR. Meanwhile, Spivey and Sid, they're really dominating these guys in the ring. And I point that out again because Emery and Suber are not little guys, but they're still kind of getting dominated by Spivey and Sid. So, Doc, what are your thoughts on this match or a commentary or anything?
Did Bob Emery wrestle in Smoky Mountain at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't recall him. But we did 200 episodes. It is possible that an enhancement talent, he could have slipped in there for an episode or so that we're just not, recalling.
Okay. Man, I didn't have much with this match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. You've got a team you're trying to build up here, in my opinion, and you do put them in there against two big dudes, and they pretty much dominated Emery and Suber. There's nothing else to really say about it. They got the win. There was a flub. No, it wasn't a flub. What am I talking about? They win the match, but it is what it is. I mean, what else you gonna want here, in my opinion? This is like one of the old studio matches where it's an enhancement talent match. It is what it is. All right. So no other thoughts, Doc, as Norman the Lunatic is out there again, kind of watching. No,
I'm surprised they don't have on his puke green scrubs a doo-doo stain.
Yeah. All right. So after the Skyscrapers win, we go to the Wrestling Hotline commercial. We've talked about that already on the previous show, where we have Secret Service Jack Victory doing the Wrestling Hotline. Yeah, go figure. We've talked about that ad nauseum at this point. And in a second, we're going to go to Lex Luger. Doc, you ready to do that now, or you got anything else?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right, so Lex Luger is going to cut a promo. He's out there with JR. Let's listen to what Luger has to say. I actually think this is very good. Here it is.
Superstation TBS, Jim Ross with you here on the World Championship Wrestling. Remember tomorrow afternoon, 4:30, the big event in Baltimore at the Baltimore Arena. One of the great championship matches you'll see, in addition to Ric Flair and Terry Funk, will be for the United States Heavyweight Championship. The champion is joining me now here at our set. And tomorrow at 4:30, I have to think you've had a lot of big matches in your career. The build-up for this one has been tremendous. And I want to know in the 11th hour here, what's on your mind in regard to facing Ricky Steamboat tomorrow?
My, first of all, Jim Ross, aren't we fickle? Not a very warm reception for your U.S. heavyweight champion on the threshold of the big bash and the Great American Bash. You know what your problem is out there? When you compare yourselves to the total package, you feel inadequate. You see, when you all look in the mirror, every morning you wish you had a different job, a different car to drive. You all wish you looked different, could change the way you look. But you see, when I wake up in the mirror and I look there, I see 270 pounds of bronze, chiseled perfection. Now, if that gets all you ticked off, well, that's just too bad. You all want to change your lives, and that reminds me of Ricky Steamboat, who wants to change something. He wants to be, Jim Ross, the U.S. heavyweight champion. But you see, Ricky Steamboat, I am the greatest wrestler, the premier wrestler in our sport today. And that goes for you as well, Ric Flair. There's also another big match in Baltimore involving the Stinger. And Sting, I won't be there to carry you. I won't be there to help you this time around. Because you see, you are looking at a class champion. You didn't get your no DQ match, Ricky Steamboat. The champion dictates what kind of match it is. But you will get your match, and you will see that I am class that will never pass. The total package, the man to beat in our sport today, Lex Luger.
All right, thank you very much. We'll find out exactly what kind of man he is tomorrow at 4:30. Now let's go back up to the ring.
When Luger said the champion dictates the type of match that it will be, I thought that was as good as it gets. He is so smug, and I loved it. Heel Luger is very good. Doc, what did you think?
Do you notice he was dry when he started that?
Let me roll that back. I hadn't been okay. Yeah, he was. Let's go back to the. Okay, yeah, you can see it. So Lex is dry. He's starting to perspire. There's a slight glisten on his body. Slight. It's a dull glisten. And as we get into it, he is starting to definitely glisten a lot more as I scan it there. Look at that. Yes.
Ooh, you can skate across that.
Yeah, buddy.
He was telling everybody that they wish they were him. I wonder in 2020, he'd wish he was me if he could get out of that chair.
Jesus, come on.
What?
Doc.
What? I'm just saying you got to be careful when you say things like that. You never know how life's going to turn out.
Grow up. Okay, so
he's way better as a heel. Just irrefutable that he's more at home in this role than he has been sucking up to all these 9-to-5ers.
Once again, Robert Silva told us Luger was going to turn it up in 89, and he's right. I'd forgotten, but he's right. Heel Luger at this stage is something to watch. I mean, right? That's a perfect line. What he told Steamboat. The champion dictates the type of match. Get the hell out of here, punk.
That's not true, but okay.
Well, okay. It doesn't have. Here we go again. It doesn't have to be true because you're a heel. You can spout off whatever you want as a heel.
Speaking of spouting off whatever you want, what match is next?
Well, I don't know what it is, but they roll back out there, Ranger Ross and Keith Steinborn. And this is no disrespect to Keith Steinborn.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I don't care that Ranger Ross, I ain't knocking him for being a veteran. God bless him. Thanks for your service. For me, Ranger Ross, putting this man on television in 1989 is a complete waste of time. I don't have anything from this nonsense, Doc. What do you have? I mean, please enlighten me.
Ugh. I put my review of this match was one word.
Why?
It was nope.
It was nope?
Nope.
As in you just didn't watch it?
I probably left it running and just like went and got another beer or something. I don't know. Got ready.
You gotta say. Well, go ahead.
There's no call for this.
It's pointless. I mean, it's truly pointless. This is pointless. I get it. I mean, they're putting matches out there that don't really have anything to do with what's coming up, but which is fine. You got a pay-per-view the next day, so whatever. It is what it is. I mean, I'm not.
Is it?
I'm not questioning it. It's. Look, this is the type of stuff you give away on free TV because you're not giving anything away. We're not here for the wrestling. Remember, we're here for the shit talking. We've always.
Well, that's gone. So we got to have something.
Well, no, we still get some smack talk. We still get the smack talk. We've had some smack talk this episode. We've seen some smack talk from Flair over the last few weeks, along with Funk. I mean, you can't knock it like that. But anyway, Ranger Ross wins in a match Doc and I have already talked too much about. Doc, any other thoughts, or can we go to our friend Ricky Steamboat here?
I think it's time to go to the family unit.
I know why you're saying that, too, because there's something that happens at the bash. But okay. Let's go to Ricky Steamboat here and see what he's got to say leading up to his match with Lex Luger.
All right, fans, we're back here on Superstation TBS. I'm awaiting the arrival of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. We heard earlier from the Total Package Lex Luger. Remember, it's tomorrow afternoon. Ricky, how you doing? Thanks for coming out. Interesting comment that Lex Luger made moments ago. I'm sure you heard it. He said Ricky the Steamboat wants the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. I wonder, however, if that is your real motivation. You've been a world champion. You've been the U.S. champion before. Is that your motivation, or is it to teach Lex Luger a lesson?
You know something, Jim Ross? I could probably count on one hand how many times that I'm going to have a match with this type of a guy, with this feeling going through my body. And that is Lex Luger. Tomorrow in Baltimore, the match that you're going to encounter is the kind of match that I'm going to teach you a lesson. You don't jump the dragon. You don't clothesline the dragon. You don't have me down on my backside begging up to you, hit me with a chair, and then get up here and make fun and tell about it and brag upon it, Lex Luger. You know something, Lex? The U.S. Championship is on the line. And if tomorrow in Baltimore I happen to take it, that's the icing on the cake. But the first initiative is to teach you a lesson. To beat you down. To make you suffer. To make make people look at you and say, look at Lex Luger. What kind of a man? He's 6'5", 270 pounds. The greatest shape of his life, but you're not in the kind of shape that I am in mentally. Mentally, there's the shape I'm talking about to you, Lex Luger. And you know when it's all said and done, when that black eye is healed, when that bloody nose is healed, when that broken and dislocated jaw is healed, you know when the real pain starts? The real pain when you look in the mirror, just like you started to tell everybody that works 8 to 5, when you look in the mirror and see that that gold is nowhere along your waist, that is when the real pain starts. You are going to be the U.S. champion, a has-been. Eat it.
All right, he is indeed in a mental state that we have not seen him in a long, long time. Fans, we'll be back. The Danger Zone is coming up next.
Okay, Doc, what are your thoughts on Steamboat there? What'd you think about, he's pretty amped up, but what'd you think?
Again, I thought he was good. I thought he was fired up. Man, when he's like, the main job isn't getting the title, I'll take that too, but my main job is to exact some revenge. He looks great. He sounds great. Luger sounds good. Let's roll this thing out.
I agree. I thought Steamboat was good.
We've
seen him.
They're doing a good job. I mean, if JR could just get his words right, he called him Ricky the Steamboat.
Oh, it happens. I mean,
does it?
Yeah, I do it all the time. Harper does it too.
I know. Y'all two mush-mouth Cajuns can't do anything, right?
That's why I'm not on ESPN or ABC or CBS or NBC.
Independent, Brad. We're independent.
You know, that was my first major in college.
We're small business.
We're small business. We don't have to be professional.
We should have applied for some of that Rona money.
Don't think it didn't cross my mind.
Well, shit, the only problem is they'd probably make you pay some back.
Well, no, the problem, like...
It appears here that, based on your receipts, you bought a hard-body Harper, a Pirates of the Caribbean alarm clock.
You got to explain that to people who aren't getting it, because I know he talked about it last week, but he sent us a picture of it too after the show.
Jesus Christ. I was still floored 2 days later that a man with 3 clocks is late everywhere he goes.
Bruh. And the way he said it, he's like, I got 3 clocks in my room.
I can't stand not knowing what time it is. Really?
I can't sleep without a clock.
File that away. Every time he comes on now. What time do you think it is, Harper?
He gets bubble guts before the shows.
Probably. Silva needs to be warming up in the bullpen. You never know when we might need to get a little bit more color in the lineup.
It's nice.
Hey, the NFL's given, we might get extra draft picks if we increase our diversity numbers.
It's funny, like, the trio of me, you, and Hopper are the most popular trio on the show.
Of course we are.
There are some who, it's interesting, there are some who love Silva, there are some who hate Silva. There are some who love Lance, there are some who hate Lance. It's interesting. There are some who hate me. God, you should see my emails. Jesus. I'm like, it's 30-year-old wrestling. Why are you getting so upset and working yourself into a shoot?
But here's the thing. I've learned this over the years. It only matters if nobody says anything. Hate us, like us. Hey, I'm telling you right now, I know we're Mike and I are going to work hard to make this a fun show. But we both are fully aware we're down on Harper. I get that. I know that. I understand that. The best show that this network puts out are when Harper and I and sometimes Mike are on. We know that.
Amen.
But we also have in one of our core values that we got together at our strategic planning session a few years ago. We got together when we plotted out our core values was we never miss a week. So here we are. That's
true, because we would have missed a few weeks if not for that. And Doc is
We've had
infatuated
we've had family members in hospitals. We've had Harper in the hospital. We've had children get born.
deaths,
pandemics, hurricanes, tornadoes, famine.
Been a lot. Well, Doc was starting to fawn over something a second ago. We're going to the danger zone.
If you don't have the network and you're not a patron, you need to become a patron so you can see the video feed of the pay-per-view so that you can see what Missy is wearing at the. I'm going to have to towel off when that comes on.
Okay, we'll get to that when we record it because I got a note about that too. We will discuss.
Christ.
We might just review that segment and nothing else.
I want to review it. All right.
Okay. Well, let's keep the show moving. So we go to the danger zone with Sting and Eddie Gilbert, and before they go to the promo part, they show a photo, and Paulie has a poster of Gilbert, Sting, and Missy and Steiner from, and I believe this was UWF where they took this because that's what Steiner used to wear back then when he was in the UWF, and I'm pretty sure this is UWF taken from when they were all in the UWF. So anyway, you can see that there as they're bringing them out. But again, it's the danger zone with Sting and Eddie Gilbert. Did you want to say something about the poster, Doc?
No,
nothing.
She looks good as always.
Well, that's true. All right, let's go now to the danger zone. Here it is.
Danger Zone, cut the music, it's my show. Welcome to the Danger Zone. You know, everybody knows that tomorrow is the biggest night of your life as you defend that belt against the great Muta. Everybody knows that you used to be managed by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, and the two of you were even tag team champions. My question is very simple. Since the First family is reuniting tomorrow night in Baltimore for one time only, 4:30 p.m. on pay-per-view, one time only, that brings me to my question. Are you the one that went to Eddie Gilbert and asked him to be in your corner just one more time?
Go ahead and answer this. Go ahead. No. I went to the Stinger. I volunteered to be in his corner tomorrow night because I know this is going to be his day that he finally proves that he is the better man and he pins the great Muta.
Light bulb on top of my head. I have figured it out. A scoop on the danger zone. Here's what's going to happen tomorrow night. The Stinger over here is going to come into the ring and beat the you-know-what out of the great Muta. The Stinger over here is going to then slap Gary Hart around. The Stinger is going to get Muta down. The Stinger is going to have Muta in a predicament that he's never been before because he's never been beaten in the United States. He's never been beaten in Japan. He's never been beaten anywhere in the world. And the Stinger is going to have the Muta down, ready to be beat. And that's when Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert's going to come in and do what he's always wanted to do since Muta sprayed the mist in Missy. You're going to burn Muta right there.
No. Like I said, this is his night. This guy, I've known him forever. As long as he's been in professional wrestling, this is his night. I would not interfere in it unless Gary Hart does.
You're just like every manager out there besides me. You are trying to steal his spotlight.
Guess what, Paulie? The spotlight's on me right now. And let me tell you something right now. Don't ever compare me to Beaver Cleaver. You Eddie Munster look alike. Okay? Yeah. Eddie Gilbert and I go back a long ways. We got a history together. I trust him. He trusts me. No big deal, okay? Terry Funk's been in my face lately. I'm a little sidetracked every now and then, but the Nature Boy's going to be right in his face tomorrow night, too. So I don't have to worry about that. I'm narrow-minded. Nothing but the great Muta for the Stinger tomorrow night. And guess what? While we're on the subject here, what are you worrying about the Stinger and Hot Stuff for? If I were you, I'd be worrying about yourself tomorrow night against Jim Cornette because you got a match. You got a match against Jim Cornette, and the rules of the match are the first one to be stripped of his clothes is the loser. And if I were you on national TV, you might just lose, first of all. I'd be a little embarrassed to find out what kind of panties you got under those pants, Philadelphia.
Sting finished it off with a scream for you, Everett Starr, longtime patron out there. All right, Doc, your thoughts on Sting, Eddie, and the Danger Zone?
I think Sting mixed up Leave It to Beaver and the Munsters with different names. I thought Eddie was really good there, and I thought Paul Lee was outstanding. You know, being a shitheel, like, you're going to do what every manager besides me does. I mean, that's a great shitheel line. I love having Eddie Gilbert out there with Sting so that he can carry for Sting. Then Sting does the gay talk or the swishy boy talk for Paul Lee, which I don't know that you could do today.
You mean you thought it was fine? You just think if he did that today, somebody would say something.
We'd get the canceling started.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's what I was just clarifying. 'Cause I actually thought that was hilarious, and to me, it's a great visual leading into that match that they're gonna have.
I agree.
Paul Lee versus Cornette, because like it plants a seed of we do want to see this little jackass get stripped down and see if he's got lace panties on or whatever. So I'm with you.
I bet you that Nancy boy does wear panties under there, Martha.
Exactly. You can hear the rednecks in the territory. I tell you what, I bet you he does have them pink lace panties on. You know he's a bleep. I mean, you know
I didn't.
My
my good Christian God-fearing mind didn't go there originally, but now that the Stinger done said it,
I'm a God-fearing Christian person, and I would never think this, but God damn it, when I heard that Sting fella say what he said about this guy having pink panties on, I think he might have some pink panties on.
He might be on to something there, you know.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Any other thoughts on the Danger Zone?
Sting and Muta, man. Who's not ready for that?
Amen. I agree.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I have an opinion about their match at the pay-per-view. You're gonna want to be on to hear.
All right. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT is the only way to listen or watch the video review that we do. It's tinyurl.
You like how I set that up and then talk over the lead? Talk over you.
Absolutely. Perfect for you. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Look, we don't do ads. There's not ads. I actually got a message today about someone wanting to know how much we charge for ads. We don't, because we don't want to do ads. So we're here, and it's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. If you love this show and love listening to it for free every week, consider supporting at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Now, Doc, I have a feeling you were saying, not because we're thrown to a video footage of the Samoans, Freebirds, and SST in a cage. We saw this last week also, beating down the Road Warriors. You're saying that because we are thrown to a match with the Steiner brothers, who are going up against Wild Bill Irwin and I return. Yes, Sheik here.
Where have you been?
How do you do?
Where have you been, Sheik?
Shiggy baby was prowling your sister-in-law with 12-inch cock.
Where did you find the extra 6 inches?
Sheik is back though, man. I mean, this is amazing. Sheik, if you'd have told me
we'd ever see him again,
I told you I thought we would see him again. I've been saying it for a while now. Now, here's the other part. If you would have told me back in 1986, hey, true or false, the Iron Sheik and Wild Bill Irwin are going to tag up in a match versus the Steiner brothers.
You could have taken all my money.
I would have been like, you lying sack of shit. That is false. But no, here we are. The Steiner brothers with Rick Steiner hitting on Robin Green as he walks to the ring. And Missy Hyatt are up against the Sheik and Wild Bill.
This is like, they came out to Welcome to the Jungle from Guns N' Roses.
I did catch that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of having the raw footage. I don't say raw footage, but the
absolutely
the old footage that we have that doesn't have anything dubbed over into it, because this is from the original, I don't say it's not the original tape because this is from a VCR, but this is the original VHS that someone recorded that we now have access to. So God bless you for doing this, whoever you are, but Tim Moretti got it to us. Anyway, I did notice that, but Doc, if someone would have said true or false, Wild Bill and the Sheik tag, would you have said false?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%.
Me too. That's right. So they come out to Welcome to the Jungle, like you said. Rick Steiner greets Robin Green on his way to the ring because he's still sweet on her and he's doing some plowing, we guess. Anyway, the Steiners win when Wild Bill misses a move off the top rope, and then Rick Steiner small packages Wild Bill. Doc, any thoughts on this match?
I think Sheik got to look at these Steiners and said, no way, Bubba. He stayed out on the apron a lot. So he was either tired, he was either blown up from the walk down to the ring, or he got to look at the Steiners and thought, this ain't like working with the Hulkster. Meanwhile, while Bill is thinking, this is just like working with the Von Erichs back in the day.
I don't know. When you go back and rewatch Kevin especially work, that is a reckless dude in the ring that no one calls out for it.
Well, and a lot of that had to do with the people he was working with, right? That made it look good.
Well, I mean, like, go ahead.
I was just say, I mean, him and Gordy, geez.
Yes, but like, I mean, even Gang and Rod will tell you, like, man, being in the ring with Kevin was just, it was Potato City. Kerry wasn't as bad, David wasn't as bad, but Kevin, when you go back and watch week to week, somebody needed to tell him it was a work. Like, bruh. Or what's the statement that Robert Fuller said? Was he talking about Kerry or Kevin when he said that statement?
Kevin.
Exactly.
We're doing a little bit more work than this here job requires.
That's exactly it. And if Fuller, as big and as bad as he is, says that, that carries some weight.
Of course it does.
But go ahead. What were you about to say?
Nothing, man. I'm telling you, we get on Kerry a lot because he was high all the time. But when he was right, or I don't know, even when he wasn't, he was smooth in the ring.
100% total agreement. Kerry was very smooth. Very, very smooth. He would throw that discus punch. It looked like he took your head off, but he didn't connect. Kevin, I've got multiple clips I've seen in the last few years doing that show with Lance. Kevin Von Erich would go in with bad intentions.
So you're telling me that if you're Wild Bill here, you're like, yeah, the Steiners are going to hit me, but at least it's snug. It's not Potato would be.
Yeah, she finally got in the ring for 2 seconds.
Jeez, and then crawled back out.
He crawled out. Let me tell you something, Bubba. I take no shit. I am check. I do what job calls for. I go in the ring. I make one appearance, 10 seconds. Water Bill come back in, take pin. I go in the back. I smoke the marijuana, and I bang the fat rat. Make ass cheeks clap. Just like you say. Okay. Sheik rolled in for 5 seconds.
He stood out there for 5 minutes, rolled in for 5 seconds. Looks like he's been blown up. I just hope that they're keeping him and Tell Me Rich apart.
Hopefully. Any other thoughts on this match? Like I said, the Steiners win.
They look good too. They got a big match at the pay-per-view.
Oh, they do. They do. Sheik's working now. He put his foot on the apron or on the rope so that he can get hit. Sheik comes in.
He better be careful kicking Rick Steiner with that boot.
Look, he tags out. He ain't been in there 20 seconds and he tags out.
This is good tag team wrestling where they work the man over in their corner and keep the fresh man in.
For a shoot. I
hope Bill Irwin got paid double for this.
For a shoot. This match is about 5 minutes, and Sheik was in there for 30 seconds.
If that long.
If that. All right, well, let's keep moving. After that match, we do see some we see some footage of it's a video package of the steel cage being built, and they're building the cage for War Games. Doc, any thoughts on this video package of the cage being built for War Games?
I'll have lots of thoughts at the pay-per-view. This is the same video from a few years ago.
Yes, that's what I thought too. Not doing a side-by-side, but that's what I thought as well. All right, so, and we see various other clips as well as we proceed. Now, in a second, we're going to go, I'm waiting for the video to catch up. We're going to go to Ric Flair. He wants to put Funk in the grave. And let's go to Rick now and see what he's got to say. This is how they go off air, matter of fact. This is the last thing that happens before they go off air. Here it is.
And we're back here, ladies and gentlemen. We're just about out of time here in our program here tonight. Remember, tomorrow at 4:30, the World's Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. It's been May the 7th was the last time we saw the heavyweight champion of the world in action. I'd like to bring out right now the undisputed heavyweight wrestling champion of the world, Nature Boy Ric Flair. And this crowd is standing. This place is going to be rocking. Tomorrow, 4:30, live, as it happens on pay-per-view. There will be nothing like it. It's been since May the 7th. And you can see what these people think of you, Nate. They're standing, and they are ready for tomorrow. The big question, sir, are you physically ready for the match of your life tomorrow?
I have never been more ready for anything in my entire wrestling career. Tomorrow is showtime in Baltimore, Maryland. And Baltimore, woo! We're going to turn it up 120 degrees. Now, Terry Funk, you're nowhere to be seen. God bless you, pal. We don't belong together tonight, because tomorrow, one of us is going to be dead about 7 p.m. You know what? The problem with you, Funk, is you got to recognize the fact that I've already walked that aisle and I've come back from the hospital. Now, woo, tomorrow, it's your turn. Let me just take 1 minute. I don't have to walk out here and pat anybody on the back, but there's a couple people in this sport, couple people that have stood beside me, that I have competed against, and a couple people that have held my name in high esteem. And tomorrow, you know, Luger, I heard you call yourself a good big man, and Steamboat a good little man. Well, Luger, whoever said you were a good big man? Not me. The bottom line is, tomorrow, pal, you gotta wrestle Ricky Steamboat. And Sting, buddy, I'm on your team. Take Buddha downtown. Funk, baby, it's time to go. The talk is over. Baltimore tomorrow. Woo!
All right, fans, and we'll see you tomorrow at Baltimore, 4:30. Don't you miss it.
So I thought that was pretty good for them to have Flair go out there and mention the Steamboat and Luger match and put his little oomph into it, along with mentioning Sting versus Muda with the NWA TV title on the line. I like that. This is the last push. I think most people at this point were already going to buy if they were looking forward for Flair and Funk. But I also think, hey, send your champion out there and let him say something about those other two big matches and hopefully draw some more buys. But anyway, that was my thoughts, Doc. What were yours?
Oh, I thought this was great. I thought he was awesome. You know, he's like, we shouldn't be together today, but tomorrow one of us is going to die. That's bold, dude.
Mm-hmm. He wants to put you 6 feet deep at that point. So,
and
I thought this was good.
And then I wonder how much of that was real frustration when he told Luger, whoever called you a good big man.
There's always a good bit of reality in some of these promos. Or I don't say a good bit, but there's always a tad bit of reality is the words I'm looking for. And I think maybe that was what you heard right there from Flair.
Okay. Man, I'm ready. Let's buy this son bitch.
Yeah, let's buy it. Let's definitely buy it. This is going to be something good to watch, talk about, and review for our patrons at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. We need to take care of the Rolex and rate this week's episode. Before we do so, I want to remind everyone, it is the holidays, so please use the Amazon Associates link for BTT at tinyurl.com/BTTAmazon. It is a great way to support this show without spending anything extra. If you're already shopping on Amazon and purchasing things for your family, your side pieces, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever you have, use the link. It's tinyurl.com/BTTAmazon. Amazon gives the show a little bit of support in return when you use that link, especially during the holidays. And we hope you're having some festive holidays right now. Doc, we need to rate it, Rolex it. What do you want to rate it first? Or you want to give the Rolex first? Which one you want? I'll let you choose.
Let's do the Rolex first.
Okay, who you got?
I think he goes to Rick, man. He came out and tied it all together and got us ready to go charging to the phone to call our cable companies to say we're ready to spend $19.95.
I think there were a number of contenders.
Is it the reverse Rolex go to Chic?
No. That is a good thought, though. I didn't think about that till you said it. I think there's a number of contenders, but I do have to give it to Rick at the end because that's what you do. That's how you go off air before the pay-per-view. You give it to. I think that's the way to go. I love it. I'm gonna go with Flair as well. And to rate this thing, I am going to rate it an A. I thought this was just a good episode. I don't know how much we missed from the original. I don't know if this was originally a full 2-hour show or would have been close to an hour and a half, or if this was just a slightly cut off episode where maybe we missed the first 5 minutes. I'm not sure. I did try to look it up, but I couldn't find it. So, but I'm going to give it an A. I thought, 40 minutes without commercials, and I'm going to give it an A. I enjoyed this week's episode. I like wrestling. Doc, what are you going to give it?
Well, we can't worry about what we don't see. We only, we have gone to a secondary source for content, and it's all we've got. So we're going to rate what we put our eyeballs on. With that being said, I also thought, how long was this episode?
40 minutes and 40 seconds without commercials.
Well, that's a good time for a show.
Really, really good. It's really good stuff, man.
Really, like, when we used to do the Smoky Mountains and they'd get to like 47, 48, I'd be like, come on. But this felt just right. I'm going to say A-. All
right, fair enough. All right, so that's how we wrap up the show.
You can't give an A to a show that's 40 minutes long and has Ranger Ross in it.
That's bullcrap, because the Sheik popped me something terrible once we started talking about it.
Man, what a lazy prick.
Dude, that was so great. Anyway, I thought this was I love this. I love this show. I love the Sheik. Reverse Rolex should go to Sheik for coming out there for 20 seconds in a 5-minute match. I mean, he only tagged in once. The first time he just kind of rolled in. It wasn't even a tag, I don't think. And the second time was a tag. And
he appears disinterested with the booking.
He's disinterested. They're going to send him home and he's going to get paid 2 years to sit at home. Okay. Remember, I said if you, this was the go home show for the pay-per-view. So again, if you want to get the pay-per-view of this, or get the review of the pay-per-view, the Great American Bash, you're going to have to go to tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. It's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. It's a great way to support not only the show, but you also get a ton of extra content. I mean, there's over 200 plus episodes on Patreon. There's the video reviews, just tons of content to check out. Lots of non-wrestling stuff. We still keep it politics free and religious free, but lots of non-wrestling stuff is there and whatnot. So again, consider becoming a patron, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Here's the thing. Last Christmas time or around Thanksgiving, I got a lot of emails, and I've gotten a lot of emails all year about, hey, I want to sign up annually. Can I do that and not go month to month? Yes, you can. And a lot of people wanted to do that because they wanted to tell their significant others or spouses or husbands or wives, whatever you have. They were like, hey, I want that for Christmas. So can is there a way to do it annually? Yes. So look, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Tell your significant other, either give you the money where you can sign up, or just tell them to sign up for you. But you might want to tell them to give you the money because you get to register with your own email and stuff. That way you can access all the Patreon shows. But anyway, so I wanted to point that out. That's the only way you can listen to our Great American Bash 1989 pay-per-view review. Doc, you got anything else before we get out of here? A little bit shorter episode this week, but still fun nonetheless.
Yeah. Do you know that we are still a year and a half away from the Sheik's final match in WCW?
I told you. That's why I was like, nah, he comes back.
Can you imagine what his final match, Iron Sheik versus the Junkyard Dog in 1991 in Columbia, South Carolina is going to look like?
Is that on a pay-per-view?
I don't know, but I'm telling you, that's like two people at 4:00 in the morning that are fighting over the last Keystone Light. Come on. It is time to go.
Picture this in your mind. The Sheik's got a bit of a gut now. JYD, when he comes back next year, is even larger than he left, just so you know. I can't imagine those two having a match, but we'll leave it at that and wait till we get there in 91. Shit. All right, Doc. Any other thoughts before we get out of here? I got a couple of things I got to mention.
Hit it.
All right. Well, shout out to Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast, run by buddies of mine, Joe Murata and Michael Quinn, the northern version of BTT. Slightly classier, a little bit more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us, so please support them as they cover the northern side of things with that WWF sports entertainment aspect of things. And they do a good job with their show. Also, shout out to the Bottom Line Cast, run by Mike Prue and JV. They do our ECW show on our Patreon feed, but they also do a show on the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So go check that out as well. Check out the Bottom Line Cast and Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast. On that note, we hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
Hold on. You want to hear something else?
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know that the Iron Sheik's final match took place in 2010, and it was when he tag teamed with Jay Lethal?
You got to be kidding me.
So it says on his Wikipedia page. Here's another one.
Oh, I believe Wikipedia.
In 1994, he went on a wrestling tour of Nigeria. Now get this. Imagine going to Nigeria in 1994 on a wrestling tour with Iron Sheik. This shit was promoted by Chris Adams. It was co-sponsored by Pepsi. So now we've got Chris Adams, Iron Sheik, Jimmy Snuka, Greg Valentine, Demolition Axe, and Kevin Von Erich on the road in Africa.
What year was this?
94.
I wonder if Iceman was there. Because he told me a story one time about them being in Africa. I could have swore it was Africa. And being with Kevin Von Erich. That's why I'm wondering if he was there. God, I wish I could get in touch with him and ask him that.
Do you think? Okay, two questions. Do you think that they were? How close do you think they were to death at all times?
99% close to death.
Right. Right.
That's a shoot.
Yeah, I was. That's a good guess. Now, here's the other question: if you got in touch with Iceman, would he know who you were?
He'd say he did. He's a wrestler, so he would be like, he's like, hey brother, I remember you, but he wouldn't remember.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just being real.
Well, it bees that way sometimes.
You know how many mud show wrestlers Iceman ran into over the years?
Thousands.
Yeah. That's why I say that.
Okay. Well, on that note, maybe you should hit the tagline and get us on out of here.
Nah, you hit it.
No, you hit it.
No, you hit it.
Me?
Yeah.
You sure?
Please.